Hello and welcome back to Soul Blazer. This is Bio Enchanted, and today we're going to be going through both the towers. Because I want the boss to be its own video, because it's an annoying boss. And I'll probably do all the stuff after the boss, of course, with that video. It'll probably be the boss plus some backtracking or something like that. But I just want to deal with it on its own merits without having to do the rest of the dungeon first. So it's just kind of be one of those things. We're going to split this dungeon up differently because of that, because it's just the worst boss, and you'll see why in a bit. Now though, let's just enjoy these towers, which have some really interesting enemy types. These knights, for example. And these pun knights over here. These chest items knights. I quite like that. We get all kinds of knights here. Knights that throw boomerangs, knights that hit you with swords. But here we also get knights in the chest knight. It's a cute visual pun, basically, I think. I find it quite charming, although they are a little bit annoying to deal with, because if you're standing on any kind of direct grid from them, they will hurt you, because of the four-way spikes. And of course, you all have all these guys, like annoying statue head things, firing fireballs at the same time. It's just... I don't like this tower. It's really annoying to get to because it's just obnoxiously laid out. At least we're getting rid of these heads so they can't be spitting at us anymore. But yeah, it's just such an annoying thing to get through this entire dungeon because of these guys. It's the worst. I really don't like this part. It's annoying because otherwise it could have been an interesting area in the level, but because of the fire-spitting statues, while the layout's inventive and interesting, it just makes the statues really annoying to deal with. It just makes the whole thing really irritating, and that's not nearly as much fun. That's what I'm trying to do. Almost. That's what I'm trying to do there, just check if I have any monster layers left. And I do, one, it's just a matter of finding it. You look over here. We have a boomerang knight. Oh dear, we better be careful, get quick. And there we go, the last of those guys. And we're actually completing more of the city as well. We're finally building some of these last few buildings that weren't built before. We'll get limited use out of that guy. Because I don't really need him, because I already know all the... Basically, he reveals the secrets with the whole, like, light on the spinny, spell light thingy. Where, like, you know, just a thing where it makes a weird distortion happen and he shows secret areas and passages and stuff by showing where the walls are false. But I know where the walls are false, so I don't really need him. You'll just see all the secrets as I go through and grab them. They're not really secrets because they're mandatory to beat the actual level, so... Let's just take care of these annoying guys, shall we? There we are. And yeah, there's a lot of invisible walls like this. And by invisible walls, I mean visible walls that are really passages is what I meant there. But they're easy enough to just kind of wander through if you know where they are. You can also just brute force it as well if you feel like it. Like what I end up doing here pretty much. It doesn't take long though. Because there's only certain places it can be. It can't be, say, around the corner, because that's not how the geometry works. There we are. No real trick to finding it, it's just a matter of knowing it's there, eventually. And because it's just a bunch of enclosed areas with literally no other way in there, it's obvious there should be something here. So it's one of those things where it's like the baby's first passage. But that's because there are actually some well-hidden ones later on. It's just here, it's just being fairly basic. So these are very basic secrets to show you the idea of what the knight will eventually end up doing for us. So nothing really important is hidden behind there. At least she has some company now. So she's not completely alone in the barracks, there's actually a barrack to look after now. Yeah, as you can tell, there's kind of like an iron wall between us and those enemies, so while we can kill them, we can't do anything about that until we get rid of that wall. And how do you suppose we do that? Oh, that's easy. I'm not sure if that's meant to be a walkway or something like that. Like, maybe meant to be above them, but it doesn't get that across very well if it is. It's a very kind of weird perspective. It might be, the idea might be prison cells, given the whole dungeon motif, but I'm not entirely certain on that one, because again, it visually is kind of clumsy with how they execute that one. The man himself! The man, the myth, the legend, Dr. Leo, we finally have him as well. So we have officially released all of him and his friends. So all the main characters in this story, except for, of course, King Magridd, are basically released now. Let's talk to people we got back, shall we? Yeah, we've already got them all, mate, we're fine. Without further ado, let's actually get those prizes that we unlocked, shall we? That was a fairly obvious yes or no question, really. Of course you'd answer yes. I don't know what happens if you answer no, though. I mean, maybe she just goes, oh, thank you for being honest, and gives it to you anyway, but I don't really know entirely, because I've never actually said no, I don't believe. That reminds me a bit of this one episode of Screen Teenage Witch, so with, in like one of the later seasons, at one point the Spellman family matriarch shows up, and is kind of a really mean character. She's very kind of harsh and doesn't like the idea that Harvey is in on the secret, so it's kind of it's interesting where she basically inquisitions him to figure out whether he's going to be loyal to the Spellmans or he's going to give them up to the rest of humanity. And she ends up liking what she sees. He refuses to submit to any of her nonsense, and then when she asks him a very basic question, everyone's kind of expecting him to kowtow to her on, or basically begging him to kowtow to her on, which essentially, do you think I'm pretty? His response is essentially, well, yeah, you're kind of good looking, but you're also a complete bitch, essentially. And she's just like, well, yeah, I am kind of a complete bitch, well done. Would you like that moment where he's just like, well, thank you for your honesty, mate, I quite like you now. Because they've also stand up to me. I really like that idea. And so I kind of like that character quite a lot. I mean, generally, later season Sabrina is surprisingly, like, it's not as strong as the rest of the show, but it has its moments, mostly pertaining to Harvey, because when he shows up again, he's hilarious. This is a complete tangent, I'm aware, but we're just getting some herbs, so it's all stuff we've seen before. Yeah, Harvey gets, like, some of the best moments in the later seasons, though, like, because he's given more to do, because he's aware of the whole magic aspect. So it makes him a much more dynamic character, and he has a lot of funny moments, like when he agrees to let Salem help him win a poker game by cheating really badly, because his friend's being a complete douche about winning. There's little ones like that. Harvey kind of gains a bit of an edge that I appreciate, and that's just fun. But we're back to Magridd, so tangent over. Let's focus now on getting in the right tower now we have some more medical herbs, shall we? I mean, I say some, I mean A. Get our VIP card. go. Let's take care of the right-hand tower, shall we? As you can see, now we've talked to that one guard, we have the wibbly, so now we can actually see the invisible passages for ourselves properly. And in this tower that becomes more necessary, because in this tower the secrets are actually blocking the way forward. So there's an evolution there of the actual mechanics, I quite like that. It's not really much of a mechanic, it's a very passive mechanic, but you get the idea. But there it is, you see that staircase that's invisible? Well, of course you don't, it's invisible, but we just saw it briefly because of the rock guards, so that's very helpful. And that's why we actually need the guard for the second half, because while, of course, I remember the stairs, I might have actually forgotten those stairs were there. Because they're very kind of, relatively well hidden. And yeah, this room is quite dangerous because it has quite a lot of monster lairs. One for every cardinal direction. And because of these 4 heads constantly shooting fireballs at us, it can get kind of hairy in here very quickly. Especially given some of the enemies end up coming across and they're having to work out the perfect, you have to stand in the perfect place and to intercept them because of the flames shooting the head shooting flames at you rather. So you kind of have to keep moving in a way that doesn't necessarily put you in the most advantageous position to actually hit the enemies. And that's an interesting challenge, but it's just kind of, again, like most things in the game, you kind of just brute force it with the medical herb and the defense bracelet. Or the attack bracelet in my case. And now that's mostly dealt, now we have a billion knights to deal with. How fun this is. An entire chessboard's worth. There we are. Finally, let's get the last one of these done, and we're done with that room now. That room's awful. Mechanically interesting, but those heads are annoying. It's a really hairy room to get through. Yeah, I'm not so much of a loser that I actually memorised all that happened to Sabrina Teenage Witch from 20 years ago. No, I'm much worse than that. I actually bought those 2 seasons on DVD, so I relived them fairly recently. I'm that kind of a loser. To clarify. Also, this brings up a new little mechanic that only appears on this floor of the dungeon. Mimics! We get mimics now! And they're kind of cute, I like the mimics. Annoying to deal with. But at least it gives you some chests that are kind of where the mimics used to be. Oh dear. Getting kind of hairy again. Let's get our medical herb out, shall we? Let's eat more parsley, I guess. There we are. Our life is now saved by parsley. Yay. He's a very friendly lion, you know. Oh, please don't shout or speak too harshly. Because he's not exceptionally brave. I'll post a video explaining that joke alongside this update, don't worry. I don't expect anyone to get that one. We finally have all the buildings done now, and as you can see, because our health has now reached the edge of the screen, it's started to do what boss health does, it's changing hues. And I really like that when games do that, when the games have like your own stats and health bar mirroring what your enemies do, because it helps make you feel like you're the one getting more powerful. Because it's like beforehand you were damage racing the bosses and you had to rely on herbs to do so because they had so much more health than you. But now you're starting to get that amount of health yourself. Now our health is starting to overlap with itself as well. So by the end of the thing, we'll have the same length of health bar as the bosses used to have. Of course not exactly, because at a certain point it does stop changing hues, so eventually it does start getting to the point where it's kind of impossible to tell. And it doesn't really help for the final boss, which is a shame, because the final boss doesn't physically... The final form of him anyway, as you will see, he has problems with how his health bar displays. Which we will explain when that comes up, but it's a shame, really. But that's not for a few episodes yet, so let's just enjoy the night, shall we? Oh dear. A few gems, that's nice. A few gems. And mimics! More mimics! And medical herbs, but mimics! Let's take care of these mimics. There we are, mimics gone. And yeah, that was my bad. I just walked straight into those. Here I believe is the final floor now. Well, we have a bunch of wandering knights, so let's take care of those, shall we? No, no, mimic. You can tell because if you push up against them, they don't open immediately. They have a little delay that makes you know they're mimics. So step off. I mean, I don't because I doesn't really trigger them to step off, but yeah, it's a good warning. Like, if you push into it, it's not opening, you know, oh damn, move now. And of course, we are now officially at the end of this flood dungeon, and here is the room just before the actual boss fight. So we'll be coming back to the boss fight later on. For now, let's just leave, shall we? Since I've just checked all my things. Let's just take a look at what else we've unlocked now that we've got all that sorted out. Now we've dealt with clearing the entire tower now. Let's just see what everyone we've unlocked has to say before we fight the boss, well, not the final guy. First though, emblem. So many emblems, not only got a few more to go for that. Got so many of the emblems now, we almost have the ability to get the item that makes things easier. Not much easier really, it's kind of a useless item by the time you get it, because it's the end of the game and you've already like got much better stuff. But it's like, we'll see it when we get there. Here's our medical herb vendor right at the end of the whole dungeon, which I always hate when they do that, when you put the medical herb vendor right at the end of the dungeon. Because it's like, it's always important to have one at the start of a dungeon. Dark Cloud understood that. In Dark Cloud, one of the first things you unlocked in most towns was the item shop, so you could buy more health stuff. And more weapons and stuff. So it's really annoying that this game doesn't do that. Well, this game is kind of a precursor to that, so... to be fair, this is kind of... I still quite like that they keep pretending they're only just kind of... not making out. And you have this last guy as well. Oh no! These are all basically hints towards how the boss will play out. But we are now pretty much done with this dungeon. We only have to deal with the actual boss next. I quite like that all the rooms are now completely enclosed now the castle's fully here, due to all the unlocking stuff we've done. It makes it look much more complete now. We've basically rebuilt the town. The castle kind of just came gradually alongside the rest of the town in a very Lego-y kind of a way. I do not trust that guard. But I'll see you next time for the boss. Goodbye.